White woman has excellent question for supposed Christian worshipers. It's an excellent question. And I guarantee you that everyone who tries to answer it will either say something hypocritical or some kind of word salad, or their brain's going to break. So let's listen to the question.
This ethical question is very difficult for believers to answer, and we recently saw it stump Cliff Knechtle when he was talking with Alex O'Connor. And Cliff's answer to this was called the most public embarrassment that they've seen in a debate for a long time, and he's receiving a lot of public backlash over it. The question goes like this. You are a believing Christian today, but tomorrow you wake up and you find yourself in ancient Canaan. And you're a Canaanite, you have a wife, you have children, you have a family, and you know, because you know Deuteronomy 20, that the Israelites are going to come and they're about to wipe you out under God's command. Not just you, but the women and children as well. The question is, do you fight against Israel? The reason this is so difficult is when believing Christians read the scriptures, they read themselves as the Israelites, the chosen people, the ones enacting divine violence, the ones enacting divine justice even. They see themselves as the main character. And this question forces you to answer and it forces you to have some empathy. What if you were on the other side of it? And it's really difficult to answer because either you have to say, I'm just gonna, sit there in the corner while someone slaughters my children, or you have to say, I'm gonna fight against what God would want. And that's very difficult for a believer to have to wrestle with. And when Cliff wrestled with it, it was just ugly to watch. Eventually, with Alex kind of pushing him, he did finally say that if God is God, he has the authority to take the life that he chooses, and he would essentially let the slaughter happen. But at the beginning, he said that he would fight. So he actually flipped in his answer. And the problem, of course, is that this justifies any kind of violence if you believe that God is on your side. So Alex pushes back and says, what if we apply this to modern times? And what if ISIS says that they know that their God commanded to destroy whatever? Should we accept that? And then again, he just really struggled with this question. And usually what happens with apologists is they'll get backed into one of two corners. Either they'll end up defending genocide, which is just icky to even do, but they'll do that in order to preserve biblical inerrancy. Or they will admit that sometimes we do things in the name of God and we were wrong, or we misinterpreted what God was wanting us to do. And if you play that move, then you kind of weaken the idea of divine perfection or biblical authority, because then how do we know when someone was really talking to God in the Bible and someone wasn't? And then you just kind of lose it as the moral authority that you want it to be. And in this debate, Cliff ended up in the first camp, where he ended up defending genocide, and you just see thousands of comments saying, this is why I left the church, or this was the worst thing I've ever seen, or the lack of empathy here is just so striking. And it really rubbed people the wrong way, because he ended up having to defend genocide and admitting to letting his children be slaughtered. So this is a really fun question to ask at family dinners if you want everyone to not like you.